What if I told you the most terrifying creatures in Earth's history lived in the ocean, millions of years before the first dinosaur was born? Imagine swimming in a shallow sea over 400 million years ago. No fish, no whales, no coral reefs. Instead, you're surrounded by creatures that look more alien than animal. Some wore armor, others had spiral jaws. Few had no bones at all, just cartilage and crushing bite power. These weren't myths. These were real marine animals that ruled the earth long before the dinosaurs. In this video, we'll reveal some of the most incredible, terrifying, and little-known sea creatures that once roamed our ancient oceans. From massive armored fish to sea scorpions and jawless swimmers, we're diving deep into prehistoric waters to meet the forgotten kings of the ocean. The Cambrian explosion's sea monsters over 500 million years ago. The Cambrian explosion kick-started a biological arms race, and the ocean turned wild. Meet Anomalocaris, one of the earliest apex predators. It had compound eyes, grasping claws, and a circular mouth lined with teeth. Another was Opabenia, a five-eyed trunk-nosed swimmer that confused scientists for decades. These warranty big creatures? Most were under 3 feet long, but they ruled with speed and strange adaptations. Most had no bones or shells, just soft, segmented bodies and weird appendages. Their fossils were preserved by rare sediment layers, giving us a window into life before backbones even existed. These sea monsters were short-lived, but they shaped all future marine evolution. Now, the age of armored titans fast forward to the Devonian period, often called the Age of Fishes. This was when armored fish dominated the seas, especially the terrifying Dunkleosteus. Dunkleosteus grew up to 30 feet long and had a bite force rivaling a T-Rex. But it didn't have teeth. Instead, it had bony blades that snapped prey in half. Its entire head was encased in bone armor, making it nearly invincible at the top of the food chain. It wasn't alone. Other armored placoderms filled the seas, from small bottom feeders to massive hunters. This era was the ocean's gladiator arena, where strength and defense defined survival. Sea scorpions and trilobites before sharks took over. Some of the deadliest creatures in the water were arthropods, relatives of insects and spiders. The most feared were eurypterids, also known as sea scorpions. Some grew over 8 feet long and used claws to snatch prey from the seabed. Their segmented bodies allowed them to slither through mud and water with eerie speed. Trilobites, smaller arthropods, were also everywhere, crawling along seafloors like marine roaches. They came in hundreds of species, with spines, horns, and even eye stalks. Today they're all extinct, but their fossils are so common, they're sold in souvenir shops. Sea scorpions, meanwhile, may have inspired early sea monster legends passed down through ancient cultures. Now, spiral jaws and shark ancestors, let's talk about one of the weirdest ancient predators ever found. The Helicoprion. This creature had a spiral of teeth that looked like a buzzsaw. Right in its lower jaw. For over 100 years, scientists had no idea where this tooth whorl fit in the mouth. Today, they believe Helicoprion used it to slice soft-bodied prey like squid. It swam like a shark, but wasn't quite a shark. More of a distant cousin. Alongside it were creatures like Cladoslake, an early cartilaginous fish with smooth skin and fast reflexes. These odd swimmers paved the evolutionary path toward modern sharks and rays. Their bizarre features weren't mistakes. They were experiments in nature's earliest predator designs. Leviathans of the Mesozoic seas as the Mesozoic era began. Dinosaurs took over land, but the oceans had their monsters. Enter ichthyosaurs, marine reptiles shaped like dolphins, but with jaws full of razor-sharp teeth. Some species reached 70 feet long, the size of a modern blue whale, and could dive deep for prey. Ichthyosaurs gave live birth underwater, and fossil records even show embryos inside their mothers. Then came pliosaurs, short-necked, broad-headed reptiles with the most powerful bites in marine history. One terrifying example, Pliosaurus funki, nicknamed Predator X, which had a bite 4 times stronger than T-Rex. These creatures weren't fish or dinosaurs. They were a separate lineage of reptiles that evolved just for marine dominance. Meanwhile, Elasmosaurus, a type of long-necked plesiosaur, glided through waters like a sea serpent with 70 vertebrae in its neck. Some experts suggest these creatures inspired early sailor myths of sea serpents and monsters. They were agile, fast, and likely hunted using surprise, coming up from below and snapping at fish and squid. These giants ruled the seas during the time dinosaurs ruled the land, but they were no less deadly. Now, the rise of true sharks while marine reptiles ruled the surface, something ancient and persistent continued to evolve deeper below. Sharks. Sharks first appeared over 400 million years ago, but during the Mesozoic, they diversified dramatically. Meet Krakens, sometimes called the Ginsu shark, which lived 100 million years ago. It was over 25 feet long and was the apex predator of its time, even preying on large marine reptiles. Fossil records show Krakens teeth embedded in plesiosaur bones. Then came the Habatus, a strange hybrid shark with both sharp and crushing teeth, perfect for a mixed diet. These ancient sharks adapted to nearly every marine environment, from the open ocean to coastal shallows. Even more fascinating were Stethocanthus and Falcatus, species that had bizarre dorsal fins shaped like anvils and hooks, likely used for mating displays. They show us that evolution experimented wildly with shark design, and only the best survived. Sharks' cartilaginous skeletons meant they rarely fossilized fully, so most discoveries are teeth. But those teeth tell incredible stories. The rise of sharks wasn't fast. It was slow, steady, ruthless. A strategy that let them outlast nearly every other marine predator. Megalodon, the apex legend, fast forward to around 23 million years ago, and you meet the undisputed king of ancient sharks, Megalodon. Megalodon wasn't just big. It was massive, up to 60 feet long, with teeth over 7 inches long. That's 3 times the length of a great white, and possibly 10 times the bite force. It fed on whales, dolphins, giant turtles, anything it wanted. Fossilized whale bones show clear Megalodon bite marks. Its range spanned every major ocean on Earth, and it likely gave birth in shallow coastal nurseries. So why did it disappear? Climate change, competition from faster predators like the orca, and shifting food supplies likely played a role. But theories still swirl. Did it survive deeper in the abyss, out of sight? Many viral videos claim modern Megalodon sightings, but science hasn't confirmed any. What's certain is that Megalodon was real. It ruled for millions of years, and it left behind one of the most legendary legacies in marine history. And yet, it's just one example of how terrifying and incredible ancient sea life truly was. Now, strange survivors and living fossils. Not every ancient creature went extinct. Some survived and barely changed at all. These are called living fossils, and they give us direct glimpses into ancient oceans. Take the coelacanth, for example. Once thought extinct for 65 million years, was found alive off the coast of South Africa in 1938. Coelacanths have lobe-finned limbs that resemble early stages of fish evolving to walk on land. Then there's the nautilus, a shelled cephalopod that has existed for over 500 million years. Their spiral shells have survived extinction events, ice ages, and global shifts. Horseshoe crabs are another older than dinosaurs, with blue blood and armor-like exoskeletons. These creatures haven't changed much because their designs were already perfect for survival. They may look primitive, but they've outlasted predators, mass extinctions, and global catastrophes. By studying them, scientists gain clues about ancient ecosystems and evolutionary resilience. They are survivors from a forgotten time. The last links to a world we can only reconstruct in fossil labs. Echoes of the deep today, our oceans still hide secrets, with only about 20% of the seafloor fully explored. New species are discovered every year, some that resemble long-extinct animals. Deep-sea hydrothermal vents, for example, are home to tube worms and extremophiles that may resemble life from the early Earth. As technology improves, so do our chances of uncovering more ancient lineages hiding in deep trenches. Scientists believe millions of undiscovered species still live in the oceans, many that could shock us with their strangeness or size. Each fossil, each living fossil, and each discovery adds a piece to the puzzle of life on Earth. The ancient ocean was more than a battlefield. It was a cradle of evolution. The creatures we've explored today show us just how mysterious, dangerous, and awe-inspiring that world was. All mass extinctions and ocean reset. Earth has experienced 5 major mass extinctions, and each one reset ocean life completely. The Ordovician-Silurian extinction wiped out 85% of marine species, likely due to sudden global cooling and falling sea levels. Then came the Devonian extinction, which killed off many armored fish, opening the door for sharks and bony fish to rise. But the deadliest of all was the Permian-Triassic extinction, the so-called Great Dying. Around 252 million years ago, volcanic eruptions triggered massive climate change and acidification of the oceans. 96% of all marine species went extinct. Coral reefs vanished. Trilobites were wiped out. It took over 10 million years for life to recover, a blink geologically, but forever in evolutionary terms. These extinctions show how fragile ocean ecosystems are, and how new predators and prey evolve to fill empty roles. After each extinction, the seas didn't return to what they were. They became something entirely new. And with each reset, evolution introduced stranger and more advanced creatures to the ocean. Ocean giants through the ages. Throughout Earth's history, the ocean has produced gigantic life forms far larger than any land creature. The largest predator of the Jurassic seas wasn't a dinosaur. It was Lioploidian, a pliosaur over 30 feet long. In the Cretaceous period, the Mosasaurus ruled a marine reptile that grew up to 50 feet and could crush giant turtles. Later, in the age of mammals, came Leviathan melvillei, sperm whale ancestor with 14-inch teeth that hunted other whales. Alongside it swam Megalodon, which may have competed for the same prey. These size extremes were driven by ocean conditions: plentiful oxygen, large prey, and open space. Even in the Cambrian and Devonian, creatures like Dunkleosteus grew massive, up to 8 feet. The ocean's buoyancy lets creatures grow much larger than on land, where gravity is more limiting. Today, the blue whale still holds the record for the largest animal to ever live. But ancient oceans had many other contenders. Understanding ocean gigantism helps scientists uncover why certain marine predators rise, and what happens when ecosystems change. Studying fossilized reefs reveals long-term patterns of survival, collapse, and adaptation, and how fragile marine life truly is. Prehistoric marine oddities. Not every sea creature from the past was large or deadly. Some were simply bizarre. One example is Hallucigenia, a spiny worm-like creature that walked on stilted legs and had no real front or back. Another was a Topodenitis, a marine reptile with a jaw shaped like a garden hoe, likely used to scrape algae. Helicoprion's buzzsaw jaw remains one of the strangest evolutionary adaptations ever found. Some creatures were more terrifying in concept than in size, like Tullymonstrum or the Tully monster. With stalk eyes and a hooked proboscis, these evolutionary experiments weren't mistakes. They were part of nature, testing new designs in a dynamic ocean world. Most of these species went extinct because their niche collapsed or better predators emerged. Others were simply victims of time and changing seas. Fossils of these oddities are extremely rare, often found only in Ligorstatone. Fossil sites with exceptional preservation. Each one challenges scientists' understanding of what marine life can look like. The takeaway, the ocean's past, wasn't just brutal. It was wildly creative, the legacy of ancient ocean life. So what does it all mean? What do these long-lost sea monsters tell us about today's oceans? First, they show us that the ocean has always been Earth's primary stage for evolution. From the first multicellular life to the largest animals that ever lived, it all began in water. They also show how environmental shifts, temperature, oxygen, chemistry, shape which creatures survive. Many ancient traits still exist today: jet propulsion and squid armor plating, and some fish and deep-sea bioluminescence. Fossils remind us that today's oceans are part of a continuous story stretching back billions of years. As we face modern threats like climate change, acidification, and pollution, these lessons from the past matter more than ever. What survived before may not survive now, or it may adapt in ways we've never imagined. The story of ancient ocean creatures isn't just a look back. It's a warning, a mystery, and a map for the future. Because the sea still hides secrets, and some of its ancient ghosts may yet return in ways we least expect. We've journeyed through 500 million years of ocean life, from armored fish and sea scorpions to Megalodon and living fossils. Every creature you met today once ruled the seas, then vanished, leaving behind bones, teeth, and mystery. These weren't monsters of mythology. They were real, alive, and thriving in Earth's oceans long before humans existed. And while many are gone, their legacy lives on, in the genes of modern fish, sharks, reptiles, and even us. The ocean is the oldest living ecosystem on the planet, but we've only explored a fraction of it. Who knows what still lurks in its darkest depths, waiting to be discovered? If ancient oceans taught us one thing, it's this: evolution never sleeps. So stay curious, dive deeper. Keep asking questions, because the ocean's past is the key to its future. Subscribe to Seaography to explore more true stories of deep-sea legends, mysterious creatures, Earth's forgotten history, and join us in keeping the wonders of the ocean alive.